Hey, Patriots. What's good? Welcome back, my MAGA family. It's your boy Kevin here, back with another banger to light up your day and fire up the internet, hopefully the algorithm. Welcome to the show where we always keep it real, expose the truth, and fight for the America that we all love. I'm so pumped to have you all here. My loyal, Trump-loving, red, white, and blue Patriot crew. You're the heartbeat of this channel, and I'm grateful for every single one of you. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's dive into some massive bombshells that are shaking up and draining the swamp. You're not going to want to miss a second of this. Today, we're going full throttle, folks. We've got breaking news. It's got the left scrambling and the haters fuming. This is a fever dream. First up, our man Benny Johnson's dropping truth bombs like never before. And he's just announced that the Oversight Committee has released a jaw-dropping 34,000 pages of Epstein-related documents from the Trump Department of Justice. Yes, you heard that right. 33,295 pages of pure transparency. The left is shaking, folks, and this is exactly what you wanted. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. So we're going to unpack what this all means. And then Trish Reagan's going viral, shouting from the rooftops that Benny Johnson is declaring war on the fake news New York Times, suing them for libel over their nasty hit piece. Oh yeah, they messed with the wrong patriot. And hold on to your hats, folks, because we've got a massive bombshell. A leaked memo exposing a $2 million effort to oust RFK Jr. They're trying to get him fired. Big Pharma's coming for him, or at least they're trying to. The CDC bureaucrats are undermining him, and some senators are even demanding his resignation. But you know what? RFK Jr. is kicking ass and taking names. He stirred up a hornet's nest just like we wanted. And we're going to show you the clips, break it all down. And as always, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. This is our show, folks, Patriots. So let's make some noise here, okay? And before we jump in, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, hit that like, and send this video, make it go viral. And let's crank up the YouTube algorithm. If you would help me with that, I would appreciate it. So every Patriot season, here's this. Oh, and real quick, shout out to our amazing partner chapter. And if you or someone you love is over 65, call 270-467-2426 for free Medicare help. No pressure, no sales pitch, just expert advice to save you money and find the best healthcare coverage for you. Hundreds, thousands of you have already called, and it's changing lives daily. And just to clear the air here, I'm not selling insurance. I'm just hooking you up with the best resource out there. All right, enough talk. Let's get to the good stuff.
Benny Johnson in the hot seat with the New York Times, or should I say the New York Times is now in the hot seat with one Benny Johnson because he's threatening a libel suit against the newspaper, the Gray Lady, getting called out by a YouTuber. Benny, I know his producer very well. I've known him for many years. Benny's been on the show a bunch. Benny has really just taken the world by storm on YouTube. All right, let me just I look at his numbers and I'm like, man, we're still fighting to get to 1 million over here on the Trish Regan Show, but I know that you guys are going to help me do it. Anyway, Benny has been uber successful, and I think that might scare the living daylights out of the New York Times. I don't know, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, why would they bother going after a YouTuber? Like, really and truly, why are they after Benny Johnson? Somebody at the New York Times has it out for him. So they printed this article. He plagiarized. He promoted falsehoods. The White House embraces him. Well, maybe this way you get, two birds for one stone. You can go after the White House and Donald Trump for talking to him and embracing him and giving him access. How dare he have access, right? Nobody's allowed to have access except New York Times, Washington Post, NBC News, anybody who's grandfathered in. The rest of us are YouTubers. No, we're not supposed to have any access, I guess. Anyway, he's not able to overcome his past as far as the New York Times is concerned, and they're taking direct aim at him. And it's a little strange to see, I just got to say, because again, over here in YouTube land, we're kind of separate from the New York Times, the Washington Post, and we tend to poke a little fun at them. But when do they poke fun at us? Maybe it's because suddenly someone like Benny is resonating. I think that's kind of what it has to do with. They go through a whole bunch of stuff, okay? It's a total hit job. They talk about how He got fired from other jobs, allegedly for plagiarizing, not even allegedly. I think he apologized in one particular case. But, apparently you can't escape your past. He's just blown up, right, on YouTube. And at issue in this particular story is apparently whether or not his home burned in a fire. And they're trying to say, he was talking about it recently because he knows what people are up against in the streets of DC because he used to live in the area and it was ridden with crime and he had his home burnt and this, that, and the other. And I guess his family was in there. And the New York Times tried to say, no, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. And he's like, hey guys, what are you talking about? What are you talking? So he posted this. Let me share with you guys. He posted this right here on, on Twitter. He's got a huge Twitter following. And he said, the New York Times just wrote a hit piece targeting my wife and children. The angle was that there was no proof that my newborn child was in any danger when I was posting about the fire. And yet he said, look, I've got the security footage and the video all right here. And then he proceeds to share it. I'm going to show some of this to you guys. You can see one of the pictures of the footage. He goes on to say, quite a lengthy statement, if you watch the security cameras, what you see is the DC police officers using a crowbar to rip open my door as my neighbors scream, there is a baby inside. I think this had...
As a DC resident of 15 years, I lived on Capitol Hill. I witnessed so many muggings and so much theft. I lost track. I was carjacked. I have murders on my Ring camera and mass shootings. I witnessed a woman on my block get held up at gunpoint for $20, and my house was set ablaze in an arson with my infant child inside. And so to any reporter that says and lies that DC is a safe place to live and work, let me just say this. Thank you. Thank you for making the city safe, because no parent should have to go through what my family went through, having the fire department rip open their door to save their infant child. And so thank you for your work on securing this.
And would you like to mention what happened?
Of course. So first of all, thank you, Mr. President.
You want to listen to this?
For having me here to share my story to the room and to the broader public. My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for NTD, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night, ever, and my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
Thank you, Iris, for being honest.
Such incidents involved not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. Right now, I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell. They couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which would probably, maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right?
Right.
But you refused. But I understand that. So and then he hit you real hard.
Yes.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot, though.
I'm very blessed, and that's why having this opportunity to stand here to share my story today. One, I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Reporters and journalists, good people, and you don't have to say it, but that have also been attacked violently.
Typically, Republicans don't go into, and you have real conversations, there's going to be pushback. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, man, when I was 16 years old, I was held up at gunpoint. when you're staring down the barrel of a pistol, a lot of stuff just doesn't really matter anymore. And for me, I just go out and do my job. I'm gonna speak my mind, I'm gonna speak my piece. You can agree, you cannot agree. The only thing I ask is that you respect me because I'm gonna respect you. Adversity, I'm not worried about that. And I think that too many people in politics are worried about some clip or some hot take, so they're timid and they won't engage on tough issues. But if we're going to get our country on track, you got to have people willing to engage in tough issues, because that's the only way you're going to find some common ground to actually get things done for this country. Do you feel like there's a lot of...
The House Oversight Committee tonight making more than 33,000 pages of the Jeffrey Epstein case records public. CNN has them. We've been going through them as we speak. So far, we've determined that they contain flight logs and court filings and surveillance footage. Now, there's reason to believe these are the materials the panel received from the Justice Department a little more than a week ago, which you'll remember Democratic Committee member Ro Khanna said was just a fraction of what the DOJ actually has.
Bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily. But I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's hard to hear.
Will you sign the discharge petition and ask the discharge petition?
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to a vote. But I mean, obviously, I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of those files. So I think I'd be happy to, yes. Thank you.
What do they call for the victims? Do they want those files released?
The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reason to be out there. So I think from the get-go, even the Attorney General stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also, too, are as young as 14. It's child porn. No, thank you, guys. Guys, let her through.
Just give a quick update. I think everyone knows who all we've subpoenaed thus far in the initial batch. We subpoenaed 6 former attorneys general, as well as Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. We've expanded that to Alex Acosta. Acosta's coming in, I believe, September the 19th, 16th or 19th. We've got that date down. I know that we'll have a lot of questions for him with respect to an earlier Epstein prosecution that he was involved in when he was U.S. Attorney. We have the documents, the initial batch that had been sent by the White House. As you know, we also subpoenaed Pam Bondi for those documents. The White House is working with us. I want to publicly thank the White House for turning over so many documents thus far. We're in the process of uploading those documents for full transparency, so everyone in America can see those documents. It's as quick as we can get them uploaded, and as the speaker said, they're 34,000 pages. So we're doing everything we can to get those uploaded. We want those to be public as soon as possible. And then we're going to continue to bring in more people. We learned of some additional names today. We're going to do everything we can to give the American public the transparency they seek, as well as provide accountability in memory of the victims who have already passed away, as well as those that were in the room, and many others who haven't come forward. So we're sincere about this. This was a 2.5-hour discussion. It was as bipartisan as anything I've seen in the 9 years I've been here. Appreciate the speaker for giving us the authority to seek out everything that I think you all want, and the people that I talk to as I travel America want. And we're going to do everything we can to get the answers and to do it as soon as possible.
I bet you there are a lot of people that voted for Trump that wish the Kamala Harris
and a lot of
was in the
people
White
who
House.
didn't vote.
I bet you there are.
All right, folks, Patriots, let's unpack this. First off, Benny Johnson's out here doing the Lord's work. Just like we talked about a couple weeks ago in 1 or 2 or 3 of my videos, Benny's not just sitting back. He's taking action. And this lawsuit against the New York Times is a straight up declaration of war on the fake news media. They tried to smear him with their hit piece, but Benny's fighting back, and we're all cheering him on. The left thought that they could silence him, but they forgot who they're fucking with. Benny's got like over 3 million subscribers. He's friends with Trump and a patriot who's not afraid to stand tall for the truth. And after all this, it's got me wondering, when's Benny Johnson going to throw his hat in the ring and perhaps maybe we see him begin to make preparation for a presidential run? What do you guys think? Now, let's talk about RFK Jr. for a second. This man's kicking up a hornet's nest, and I'm here for it. Trump bringing him into the fold as HHS secretary was a genius move. RFK Jr. is out there exposing Big Pharma, shaking up the CDC, and fighting for what we've been demanding: accountability and truth in public health. That leaked memo about a $2 million effort to get him out of here, that's proof he's hitting them where it hurts. The vaccine industry is lobbying hard against him. CDC bureaucrats are trying to undermine him, and some senators are even calling for his resignation. But you know what? That's exactly why we love him. He's not backing down, and neither are we. This is the dream team, folks. Trump, RFK Jr., Benny Johnson, and all of us in the MAGA movement. We're draining the swamp, delivering on campaign promises, and silencing the haters, the media, and the Democrats, the left, with every move. Oh, yeah. And that Epstein document drop? 34,000 pages. That's not just a release, folks. That's a freaking wrecking ball to the establishment's lies. The oversight committee, led by folks like James Comer, is making sure the truth comes out. We hope. And the Trump DOJ is backing it up. Speaker Mike Johnson by his side. And this is what transparency should look like. And it's what we voted for. But here's the thing. Some folks, like Representative Robert Garcia, are trying to downplay this, saying most of these documents were already public, and that pretty much everything will be redacted. But what do you guys think? Some say don't fall for it. That's just the left trying to spin the narrative and protect their own. But we know the truth, that this release is a game changer, and it's got the swamp sweating. When Trump said, or before, and he's like, why is everybody talking about this? We have more important things to discuss and to handle and take care of. Didn't mean that he wasn't working on it. It just meant that it wasn't the most pressing issue at the time, okay?
So could you resolve whether or not you did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the death?
Yeah, sure. If
could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
Now, I want to add one more piece to this puzzle. The pressure on RFK Jr. isn't just coming from Big Pharma. It's part of a bigger fight. Medical societies are suing him and HHS over vaccine policies, claiming they're unscientific. But let's be real here, folks. RFK Jr. has been calling out the corruption in these institutions for years. And now that he's in a position to do something about it, they're fucking terrified. This is the swamp fighting back. But guess what? We're stronger. We're smarter. We're faster. Trump and RFK Jr. are keeping their promises to put America first, and we're not letting the left derail this train. All right, folks, my MAGA family, you guys know what to do. Keep the pressure on. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, what do you think about Benny Johnson's lawsuit? Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s fight, and those Epstein documents. Let's keep this conversation going, folks. Smash that like button, share this video with everybody you know, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're building an army of truth tellers here. One last shout out to Chapter. If you or a loved one is over 65, call 270-467-2426 for free Medicare help. It's a game changer, and hundreds of you have already saved big. Thank you all for your support, your donations, your super thanks, your likes, and your love. You're the reason we keep fighting. We're draining the swamp together, and we're just getting started. I'll see you right back here for the next one. Stay locked in, folks. Stay locked in, Patriots. Thank you so much. God bless.